guys, Marian here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I just wanted to do like a little catch up, a little fireside chat without a fireside, and just kind of talk to you guys about how I feel about parenting in a pandemic. So I hope you guys like this video, find it helpful and relatable. If you do, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're interested in more mom content and more Jewish mom content. And you can also follow me on Instagram. I'm posting there every day about what we get up to in our life under social distancing. So it's the end of the first 2 weeks that we've been in our home, completely social isolated. I kind of jumped on things a little bit early. I talked about that in our day in the life video about what life has been like. So as I was saying, sorry about that, I'm just naturally a worrisome, anxious kind of person. And as soon as we kind of saw the news about what was coming, we decided to get ahead of things, stock our house, etc. And not like overstock, hoard, just like get what we need and stay in. So it has been a full 2 weeks, and I definitely feel like I've been through waves of emotions. There'll be some days where I'm like, we got this, we can do this, and there'll be other days where I'm just like, this is too hard, this is too much. Not so much in terms of parenting and the ins and outs of having a toddler and a baby at home with nothing to do and nowhere to go, more just the overall like what's happening in the world is too much, and like it's too hard to bear, it's too hard to witness kind of thing. So I've been thinking a lot about like the macro and the micro. So I wanted to share with you guys sort of what I'm doing to cope. So if you're sort of an anxious person, I hope that maybe this strategy will help you. So the first thing I do is I've limited myself to only looking at the news after my kids' bedtime. So as soon as I put them down to bed, that's when I'll go on Twitter, check all the news sites, and just really get caught up in what's going on. But then after I'm caught up, I put that away, and I've actually started reading a really good book. It's Glennon Doyle's new book called Untamed, I think. So it's been a really, really good distraction. But I don't let myself check the news again until the next night. Sometimes I will in the morning when I first wake up if I'm really tempted to, but I'm really trying to limit to just that time of the day, because otherwise if I check it in the middle of the day and see something horrific, which is bound to happen, it really of course messes with my mood and just ability to be in the moment. And the truth is there's not so much I can do now. In the beginning, when I was obsessively checking the news, I really felt like I was getting informed and ahead of the game. I was figuring out like I needed to buy Tylenol, I needed to like do whatever it was. If we were gonna get sick, I wanted to have what we needed on hand and all that kind of stuff. But at this point, I feel like all we can do is stay home, so there's not too much more rather than just really being caught up day to day that I need to know, in an urgent basis. So that has really helped me. Then in terms of our sort of day-to-day life, I have a few sort of like philosophies that are guiding me through this. The first is I really rely on routine, but not schedule. So what I mean by that is we wake up and we have breakfast, and then we'll usually do an activity and then go on a stroller walk. But we don't wake up at exactly, 7 a.m. We don't have breakfast at exactly, a certain time, or go on a stroller walk at a certain time. Sometimes the stroller walk will happen between 9 and 11. It can be any time within that range, but it's always in the morning, if that makes sense. So that has really helped us. And I never stop the kids from doing something that they're enjoying. If they're playing nicely and happily, I just don't stop them. I just let them go, until they've really exhausted it, because there's just no point, rushing them along to something for no reason. To that end, I've also tried to stop nagging as much as possible. So if you have a little toddler or preschooler, you know that getting them dressed and out the door and all that stuff involves a lot of repetition and saying it's time to go now, we need to get our shoes on now. I know there's all kinds of strategies for that, but in the end, there's a lot of pushing along that happens, but because we really have nowhere to go and nowhere to be, I've really tried to stop that. So for my son, he hates getting dressed, he loves being in his pajamas all day. And another one of the philosophies that I've really adopted during this time is that I don't pick battles. How people are always like, pick your battles? I just don't pick battles. So I don't want to fight with him about getting dressed every morning. There's really no need to. So he stays in his pajamas for a while, and then usually we get really messy playing, so we end up changing, you know, before lunchtime anyways. But some days we don't, and like that's a comfort for him to stay in his pajamas. That's what he likes to do, and I just don't want to pick that battle. So that has really helped me. In terms of battles, in terms of things that I will fight for, I wouldn't say I'm picking battles, but I try to think about what are my core priorities. So for me, what really like I believe in fundamentally is love. Love is kindness, and love and togetherness between siblings. So for my two little boys, I always intervene, you know, when they're fighting or they're not sharing nicely, because I just personally like have a really low tolerance for sibling fighting. Other people you could have totally different priorities. These are just mine. So I'm always on them about sharing and being kind to each other and loving one another and playing nicely, and I reward that kind of good behavior. So that's just for me, you know, what I prioritize. Things I don't prioritize are, you know, if the house becomes a mess and the laundry isn't done for days, although I'm still on my one laundry load a day philosophy. I've talked about that before, but it really does help. But if that gets out of hand and the dishes pile up, I just don't care. I want them to get messy. They play in the mud. They get yogurt all over themselves. Like, to me, they're having fun. They're enjoying themselves. Nothing bad is going to happen. We've ruined carpets, chairs. You know, it's like, I don't care. Those are just things. They don't matter as much anymore. I just want them to have fun and remember this time with joy. So those kind of overall philosophies help me, and I've learned to kind of accept, like, okay, we're not going to get into clothes right away in the beginning of the day. I'm not going to make a big fight out of it, and I don't get stressed out when I'm like, oh my God, it's 11 o'clock. They're still in their PJs. Instead of feeling guilt and stress over that, I'm like, that's something I've let go of. So that has really helped me as well. Another thing that's really helped is that I've sort of accepted the fact that we're in a really hard time, and we're going to be in a hard time for a while. So the first week or two, I was really kind of fighting against that. Like, I just wanted things to go back to normal. I was so frustrated, especially that we had lost preschool, because it wasn't so much the childcare, but it was just such a huge, you know, socialization and community for us. And I was just really angry, and I was, you know, in grief about everything that we had lost. And again, I know people have lost so much more, but everyone goes through their personal losses. So that first week or so, I was really, you know, angry and frustrated. And now I'm more in a place of acceptance that this is the world that exists right now. I try not to think about, you know, what we've lost and what we were going to be doing right now that we're no longer doing. And I'm just kind of in the mental space of, this is where we are. This is what exists. This is the world that we're in right now. And I think that sort of reframing has really helped me. And it helps me live in the moment and just try to make the best of each day, rather than getting too overwhelmed by, well, we could have been doing this and we were supposed to be doing that. So that has really helped me as well. And the last thing I want to say is, I feel that the added responsibility of creating a safe and happy place for my kids and being like the sole provider of that, you know, between me and my husband, is an exhausting responsibility. It's really hard to keep your spirit up and to keep your kids happy when you know there's so much, you know, hardship going on around you. But what I say to myself every morning is another quote from the book I've been reading, which is, I think, originally from another book, so I don't want to attribute it wrongfully. But anyways, back to the quote, is, we can do hard things. And that's what I say to myself throughout the day when there are hard moments. I just think, we can do hard things. So instead of kind of being frustrated that things aren't easier, I've just come to this place of acceptance that these are hard times, and I just say to myself, we can do hard things. And I feel that togetherness in the word we. I know there's millions of others doing hard things out there, doing much harder things, especially all of those, you know, emergency workers and medical workers and all those people doing so hard things. But day to day, you know, everyone is doing hard things together, and that just kind of lifts me up, that idea that we can do hard things. This is unfortunately a hard time, but there's nothing we can do about that. So that has been my week 2 parenting in pandemic philosophy. I just wanted to share with you guys how I've been feeling, how I've been getting by, and how I've been sort of overcoming some of the anxiety and just worry all around us. I hope this video has helped you. If it did, give it a big thumbs up so I know you guys want to see more of this. Feel free to leave me comments. I love responding to comments in DMs. I think this little social community has really lifted me up during these days, so I love hearing from you guys. That's everything for now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!